For as long as I can remember, I've been a people pleaser. This is just a transparent moment, you guys, so just follow me, okay? I took pride in showing up for people. I took pride in being that person that everyone can call. I would sabotage my own happiness and I would sacrifice my own peace. It even got to a point where I would go to God and question Him. I said, God, why are you taking me through this storm when I'm down here doing your will? I'm loving everybody and I'm treating everybody right. Exodus 34:14. For thou shalt worship no other God, for the Lord, whose name is jealous, is a jealous God. Growing up, my brothers and I were very sheltered. My mom taught us at an early age, we are each other's friend and we are each other's only friend. We weren't allowed to go nowhere. We weren't allowed to do anything. We weren't allowed to do anything outside of each other. So I've been an introvert all my life, and I will say it was by force at a young age. As I got older, though, I did begin to feel that I was missing out on life. And it was something that I really wanted to experience. I wanted to experience what it's like to have loyal friends and real friends that care for you as family. I ended up befriending people that was not even nowhere near like me. I would go to events. I forced myself to go to social events that I know I didn't belong. They wanted to club. I went clubbing with them. And I knew I didn't belong because my body told me. I would get anxious. My heart would race the entire time. I stayed in my head. My palms would get sweaty. I never felt, it was just an uneasy feeling. But I sacrificed my comfortability because I wanted friends that bad. I wanted to please people that bad. My very first time in college. It's the first time that I ever drank alcohol in my life. I began to start drinking. And I started to realize, like, wow, I'm not in my head. I'm able to talk to strangers. I'm in the club and I'm bobbing, I'm dancing. I'm not feeling awkward. This liquor is bringing out the side of me that I've been wanting. That was the trick of the enemy. That was the trick of the devil. Follow me, y'all. Maybe 2 or 3 years after that, I continued to drink. I continued to club. I continued to put myself in those situations. One particular night that I pulled up to the club with my friends, we got out the car. Now, mind y'all, I was sober. I had not drunk yet or anything. Now, every step that I took to go stand in line at the club, my heart was just pounding like this. Pounding, literally out of nowhere. Sweaty, nauseous, and my knees were buckling. So when we got in the line, my friend asked me, like, what's wrong with you? You good? They knew me as the church girl, okay? And so the last thing I needed them to think was the church girl can't hang. So I told them, no, I'm good. I'm just a little drunk. And I pre-gamed. And at the time, I didn't know nothing about pre-gaming. I used their terminology, knowing that I was literally sober. So I remember telling myself when I get in this club, I need to drink. I got to drink, so I can have a good time. Now, I'm 29 years old. Nobody loved me enough to tell me that, hey, if you have to smoke or drink just to have a good time, that time ain't worth having. The delusion was so real that I began to feel that alcohol was the cure to my social anxiety. So it went from occasional drinking in the club to feeding with my friends to an everyday thing. Anytime that I had to come in any type of contact with a human, I would have to take at least about 3-4 shots first. As I stated earlier in the video, I have 2 other siblings. So we all 3 were in college around the same time, right? So our parents were paying our tuition and they would also send us survival money during the week, to buy food, toiletries, and all of that. Instead of me spending my money on things that I need, I ended up spending all my money on bottles and alcohol. I got down to my last $10 and I knew that I had 2 more days within that week. I needed to eat. So I knew that I was not going to go to no club. I knew that I was not going to be able to buy a bottle. I knew all of that and I told myself I'm going to just sit it out. My friends come in my room later on that night and they're like, hey, let's go to this twerk fest. And I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to do that because I'm sober and I can't, I don't know how this is going to blow over. I never said that to them, but I was thinking it. Of course, I was a people pleaser. So what did I do? I got up, put my best fit on, and we went to the club. Here we are. We pull up to the twerk fest. We walk in the club. Again, I'm the only person in the party that is sober. Everybody around me is drunk. I don't know if you've ever been in that predicament where you've been sober, surrounded by drunk people, but the image is uneasy, is unbearable. And still to this day, I remember what it looked like, and it triggered the God in me. These people look like demons, y'all, for real. But let me tell you how intentional God is. God allowed me to be sober that night to show me what I looked like. God allowed me to be sober to mirror myself. After witnessing that encounter that night at the club, at the twerk fest, I was so triggered that I literally separated myself. I knew that that's not for me. That's not something I need to be around. And it's just not it. So I was only going to class and back to my room. My prayer life got back on track. I felt that I was in alignment again. And I was just really at peace and happy. I did not feel that I needed validation from other people in order to be happy. Those friends, at some point, they did get offended. They started to say that I think I'm better than them, or I'm too good for this, too good for that. I actually cried that night in my room, and I prayed and I prayed. And I'm like, God, like, you know I'm humble. You know I don't think I'm better than nobody. Like, I'm not, like, what's going on? In this case, I am found guilty, okay? They were not the problem. They were doing what they normally do. Drink, turn up, club, have fun. Okay? I reached a verdict. I'm wrong. I am not the victim. Number one, I made the conscious decision to step outside the will of God to please them. Number two, I didn't just affirm anxiety over my life. I spoke it, and then I wore it. It took me years later for me to understand that no, I've never had social anxiety. I just had discernment. Because around the right people, I can talk all day long. It's just when that spirit ain't right and I got to squint my eyes to try to figure it out. I'm at the age now where I don't really want to figure nothing out. I need everything to be plain and simple. The circle that I'm about to place you in, they will not require you to put me last in order for you to be accepted. The chair that I'm preparing for you to sit in, you won't have to change nothing about yourself in order for you to fit in it. This door that I'm now building, once you open it and you cross that threshold, you will be welcomed with intellectual people as yourself. You will be welcomed with spiritual, intelligent people as yourself. You will be loved, respected, cherished, and adored by people who understand you. You will be loved by people that also mirrors me the way that you do. Because in this season, you cannot afford to be friends with paper when you're iron. Iron sharpens iron. You cannot afford to be friends with a person that is made out of paper. You will cut them. You're too sharp. You need people in your life that is like-minded. You need people in your life that get it. You need people in your life that don't mind getting out of bed at 2 a.m., getting on their knees and going to God on your behalf. You need people that can pray you out of a storm and not go behind your back and talk about you.